Finding a manufacturer is probably the hardest part in the clothing brand process. So I've compiled all my knowledge from the past 5 years into these few videos to make sure you guys know exactly where to go to find your manufacturer. By the way, this used to be a paid course, so pay good attention and I wish you guys good luck with finding your manufacturer. Alright, before I teach you how to find a good manufacturer and how to produce your clothing, I'm gonna teach you the process of actually manufacturing clothing. So, first and foremost, you're gonna need, of course, a good design. A good design is the basis of the entire clothing brand process. If you don't yet have a good design, go back to module 2 because having a good design is truly the foundation of manufacturing. Alright, so design is the first step. Then the second step is sampling. Sampling is a process of ordering your first sample, your first item, hoodie, t-shirt, shoes, doesn't matter what it is, but just ordering one of it to see if the quality is good, to see if the manufacturer gets the print. So if you send your tech pack and mock-up pack over and your design, everything, you are gonna ask for your first sample. The sample is probably not gonna be cheap, but it's really necessary to ensure quality and that your manufacturer understands what you want. Also, a pro tip, often manufacturers give the money of the sample back when you order your big production. So always ask for that. Like for example, this shoe. This shoe was a sample. I only ordered one of them to see if the quality is good, if the colorway is good, if everything looks good. And I really like how it turned out, so I'm gonna be ordering the bulk production soon. But also very often I just make samples to see if I really like the item. I wear it for some months, maybe the quality isn't good, maybe I don't really like the item, so then I just don't make it. There's no problem with making samples that you don't produce. But also very often I just make samples, for example this shoe, and I don't really make the production. But it doesn't really matter because you can just keep on making stuff, keep on experimenting. That's also really important if you want to grow your brand, that you start experimenting and start sampling. So sampling is really important. If you have an idea, make sure to sample it to make it into physical form, because then and only then you can see if you really like it. For example, the Buchan belt that I'm wearing right now is also just a sample, and I think the belt itself is a little bit too big, so I know that now. I thought 9 centimeters was good, but you can never know it unless you actually make it. So guys, sampling is a really crucial step. Yo guys, real quick, I just launched something new, a clothing brand Discord community. It's totally for free. It's the first link down in the description. It's called Brand Academy, and I really want to make this the biggest clothing brand Discord in the entire world. I've also put a bunch of interesting resources in there, like mock-up packs, tech packs, manufacturers, designers, stuff like that. So guys, really check it out, and I'll see you guys in the clothing brand Discord. Once the sample is confirmed, then you can make the production. In production, you have two options. Or you can do pre-order, or you can have stock. Pre-order is a concept that I just make the shoe, I show it on Instagram, I show it to everybody, and then people can choose to order it, but I only order it once the people ordered with me. So this is really handy for you as a brand owner, because you don't have to spend so much money up front and risk it all, because you don't know if it will sell out. You just know you already have your money safe. So this can be really good for the beginning, when you're just starting out, or when you're experimenting with a new product like a shoe, for example. But it can also be a really bad experience for the customer, because wait times can be really long with pre-orders. For example, if I want to pre-order the shoes, it takes like 2 or 3 months, which is like quite some time for a customer to wait, especially in this next day shipping Amazon times. So it's really just something you have to decide whether you want to do pre-order or not. I recommend you do pre-order as rarely as possible, because it really gets like a bad reputation if people have to wait so long. For example, my fleeces, I made like thousands of fleeces. People really wanted them. People just kept ordering, so I needed to open a pre-order, but then the pre-order took longer than expected because the manufacturers were very slow, so that caused delays and people getting very angry at us. So I really recommend you really have to think twice before doing a pre-order. And you have the second option, which is just buying in stock. This is the most common way to do it, is just buying a lot of clothes, buying like hundreds of t-shirts or like 100 pairs of shoes, and then just selling them once they arrived at your warehouse or your house or your office or something. This is a really good way to do it, but of course you need some money to do it. So if you're just starting out, or you're making something really expensive or special like your shoes, for example, it's gonna be very tricky. But you just have to decide. These are the two different ways you can produce. And of course, the details I'm going to discuss down below in the next chapters of manufacturing. Alright, and once you order the stock, you can release and ship it out. I'll teach you the pros and cons, the pricing, and why you should produce locally in the beginning. Producing locally is exactly what I did to start with, and the best part of it all is that it's just so easy and low friction to start. The exact method I use to find my manufacturer is just literally looking on Google, just going here, I'll do it with you guys. Hupsakee, just typing in screen printer near me. Hoppa, there we go. And then of course you'll see some ads, doesn't really matter. But here you'll see the businesses near me that are screen printers. There we go. See, already there are a bunch of screen printers, and that's only in my city, Ghent. And Ghent is not such a big city. So if you live in an even bigger city like Antwerp or Amsterdam maybe, then there are gonna be a bunch of screen printers in your city already. So what I just did is called all of them, all of the nearby screen printers. As you can see, the top 5 are all in Ghent. And then I just literally called them, bam, like this. And then I just asked them what their prices were, what their MOQs were, and all these different details. I just explained what I wanted to make, and then I just called them all and asked for the pricing, and I negotiated the prices down to have the best price. And then I landed on Print Company, here the first one. I really like to work with them. They're like a really good manufacturer in Ghent, and if you're from Ghent or somewhere around Ghent, I really recommend you also go to Print Company, because they're just nice people, and it's nice to work with nice people, of course. So producing locally can be really nice because you have personal contact, because you can go to their place and check out how it all works. You can ask them for advice and tips and tricks and all these things. You cannot really get scammed, because if you get scammed, you just go to their place and you ask them where your stuff is. So these are all pretty nice pros to have when working with your first manufacturer. And then some cons are the lack of customization. They probably only screen print or maybe do some embroidery, but they can't do a whole lot of different printing techniques. Also, they work on blanks, and blanks just have their standard fit. You can't really like go and make your own total cool fit or something like this. You just have to work with what they have. So I also linked the best blanks in my manufacturer list, but the blanks are up to you to use. Some cool ones are Russell, Gildan, Fruit of the Loom. They're all pretty good blanks to use. Stanley Stella, I don't really like them. The quality is good, really thick, but the fitting, I just don't really like the fitting. But it's up to you to decide. Just order some blanks with them and just decide what you want. Blanks, by the way, are hoodies or t-shirts unprinted, like this one for example. This is a blank white hoodie that I ordered just to test the fitting of my new hoodies. This is what a blank hoodie looks like, without a print, without anything, nothing on the back, nothing on the front, just a blank hoodie ready for you guys to print on. And also, if you produce locally, you're probably going to be limited by the items they have as blanks. For example, tote bags, t-shirts and hoodies and caps maybe are going to be easy to make, but if you want to make some special stuff like maybe keychains or for example shoes or phone cases, it's going to be a bit harder to work with local manufacturers. And also, if you're going to be ordering a lot of different items like 1,000 hoodies or 1,000 t-shirts, it's also probably going to be more expensive to do it locally than to do it overseas or do it internationally or continentally. So I'm gonna teach you those in the next videos, but first let's discuss the pricing. So how does pricing work with local manufacturers? There are 3 different methods I'm gonna discuss today. So first of all, screen printing, then second, embroidery, then third, DTG printing. For screen printing, you're going to pay a standard startup fee. These are different for every manufacturer, but I'm just going to discuss them for Print Company at the moment to make it easier. So the setup fee is about 40 euros. 40 euros is the price for the screen you pay. So that's just the normal price everybody pays for making a screen. Doesn't matter if you make 1 t-shirt or 1,000 t-shirts, the 40 euros is going to be a fixed price. Then for the screen printing itself, for each print you're gonna pay 2 euros. For example, if you make 1 t-shirt, you only pay 2 euros. But if you make 1,000, you're gonna pay 2,000 euros. So as you can see, this price increases the more you order. So for a t-shirt with 1 screen print, making one of them is much more expensive than making, for example, 100. Because the fixed fee stays 40 euros no matter how much you make. So I really recommend whenever you start screen printing, you already make a few of them and not just one or something. Of course, when you're sampling, you don't yet know how big your print will be, so you can just ask them to make a sample print, and then they won't make this entire screen for you. They will just do some other printing technique that looks pretty similar. So screen printing is good when you make a lot of t-shirts or when you have one color print. If you make 2 color t-shirt prints, it's gonna be double the price. You're gonna pay 2 screen fees, 2 times 40, and 2 times the printing fee of €2. So if you make only one t-shirt with 2 screen print designs, you're gonna pay €80 plus 2 times 2, €84 for only one t-shirt, which is pretty expensive. And the price of the t-shirts themselves, they can vary. Sometimes they're only €3, sometimes they're 7 or even €12. It depends on what quality you want, but I think the good quality ones are about 5 to 7 euros. The Russell tees, I really recommend them. And then for embroidery, it works pretty similar. You pay a startup fee to make like the design on the embroidery machine, and then afterwards you pay a flat fee per embroidering you make. But the price is just much more expensive. The setup fee was about 40 to 60 euros, so pretty similar to the screen fee. But for each embroidery is going to be much more expensive because embroidery is just a more expensive way to make prints on t-shirts and hoodies. So you're just gonna call them and gonna ask them like how much is this embroidery gonna cost, because it just varies super hard on what design you're gonna make on the t-shirt or hoodie. And then one major pro in producing locally is that it's fast. If you produce in other countries or overseas or something, it can often take like 2 months to make a t-shirt or a hoodie, which is like a really long time, especially if your customers are waiting on a pre-order or if you just want to make something quickly, if there's like a new trend or something. And producing locally, you can make something in about 2 weeks or something. Of course, it's gonna sometimes take some more time depending on what period. In the Christmas period, for example, it's gonna take some more time because everybody wants to make stuff in Christmas. But if you ask them like, I really need it next week, there's a big chance you're gonna get it. For example, the 4-year anniversary t-shirts, I ordered them like 1 week before our party was, and then on our party we had them ready perfectly to be sold. Producing locally, that's a really big benefit. Especially in the beginning, it's really nice to have your idea turned into physical form quickly and not have to wait like 3 months or something to make it. So guys, go on Google, search for your local manufacturer and start making your stuff. If you want to start making clothing that are fully custom your fit, like hoodies with like an oversized cropped fit or something like this, then it's best to start producing internationally in Portugal, because Portugal is the land of textiles. It's one of the best places to start manufacturing when you're ordering a lot or just custom items, or when you're just scaling up a bit. Portugal is better than China because it's local, the quality is often better, and it just sounds better. If you see made in China or made in Portugal just sounds like much more qualitative. Although China is also really not bad. But finding a good manufacturer in Portugal is really not an easy task. If you Google it, you just find a lot of factories with very high MOQs, like minimum 300 hoodies, which of course as a starting brand owner is not really possible. Or you find agents which are really expensive to work with, and then they just find like good factories for you. But yeah, that's also not possible as a starting brand owner. And also one more big problem is that most factories in Europe don't want to work with small brands. They don't really believe in the potential. They just only go for the high players that order a lot of items, and they don't want to work with small brands. I've tried a lot of different manufacturers in Europe. I've also tried working with like a middleman, some agent type of person in Belgium, and I really don't recommend you work with those types of people that say like, I'm gonna do the manufacturing for you, because it's just so expensive. I paid like €5 extra per hoodie or something, which is like, it's insane, of course. It's too crazy. So don't do those things. Don't repeat my mistakes. Working with agents is just too expensive, and working with factories that only have high MOQs is not good, because they won't really want to work with you and they will delay your items and stuff. So guys, work with my manufacturers in the manufacturer list. They're like really good ones. Sometimes it takes some time to like chat with them and to negotiate with them. But once you've like figured out a deal, then it's just, it's perfect. They work really well. And then now we'll tell you how to find your own Portugal or European manufacturer. So the way to do it is actually just by asking other people and other brand owners and people that most likely would know someone there. If you have like Portuguese family or something, or Turkish family, there are a lot of good factories in Turkey as well. So guys, it's all possible, but it's just you have to really know people. So it's really annoying. There isn't like one big marketplace yet for European manufacturers. Maybe I should make one later on. But yeah, for now, this is the best thing I've got, the manufacturer list. So guys, check it out. And if you know people that live in like these producing manufacturing countries like Poland, Portugal, Spain even, Italy and Turkey, then maybe you should just go ask them and maybe go visit there to find some other factories. But for now, there isn't like one very good way to find manufacturers. So guys, I've figured out a way for you guys. Check out the manufacturer list and have fun. If you're gonna start making your own custom items with like custom sizing, custom weight, custom embroidery and everything, then you need to start looking at tech packs. I've already explained it in the previous module in tech packs section that you have to find like the perfect GSM for you, the perfect fitting. I will already explained all of those things, so I'm not gonna say them again, but it's pretty basic, it's pretty easy to do actually. It seems really daunting, like it seems like really big, like oh no, how do I find the perfect like weight for my hoodie, the perfect fitting? It's so difficult. I need to study like a fashion school or something, but no, it's all not really necessary. Just have to watch my tech pack video. I'm also gonna link it down here below if you didn't check it out already, but you should really check that one out.